Hello YouTube, it's Dami back again. So as I promised, well, before I go on, I want to say thanks to everyone that subscribed to the channel, that showed some love to the channel. And I really appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate the views, I appreciate the likes, the subscribe. I figured I'd bring a new content to you guys today like I promised. And today I figured I'd jump down into just something something basic that seems to be, and I won't say an issue, but seems to be what people struggle with the most, and it's called like self-reliance. And like self-reliance is like it goes in deep, but it can also be as shallow as you want it to be. And it pretty much talks self-reliance is pretty much like you putting yourself in the position where you're responsible for your own actions, right? Your journey and your life circumstances evolves around decisions that you make as a person. And it could be it could involve in various things, right? I mean, like you think about like someone's life going in from being horrible to being great. It's the decisions that made, and all that falls on being self-reliant, right? Trusting your instinct, trusting the decisions that you make as a person. And I took time. Sorry, my notes are down here in case I'm looking down. I took time to break down the situation and break down different topics about self-reliance. And like one of them was about cognitive bias, right? And like everyone, including I myself, I've suffered from cognitive bias. You get in a habit. You form a habit of doing the same thing over and over again. You don't see a change in it. You don't feel like you have to. You don't feel like you have to like proceed and break the bond a little bit. And like you if you look at someone that isn't self-reliant, like they also struggle with that, because like you end up doing the same thing over and over again. And it is great because it shows a level of consistency. But at the same time, if it's something that hasn't handed you being well, or hasn't put you in the best situation, it's always good to go out of that. Like you don't want to set yourself in autopilot, right? Like like it's almost like a playback. Like you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, which is something that everyone has to do apparently. But like you doing the same thing, you work. You don't feel like you have to seek further growth behind what you're used to doing. And like a lot of people suffer from that too as well. And like you think about growth, right? Like self-reliance has something to do with growth, because everyone talks about like, oh, I've been in this position for a long time, and like I feel like I want to change it, like, or like my life sucks, or like situation sucks around me. And it's almost about self-reliance, right? You look at it like, why does situation suck? Sorry about that. Like, why does it suck? Like, what have you done to change that? Like, what steps have you taken as a person to change that? And like that again also reflects on self-reliance, trusting yourself, trusting your instinct, trusting the decisions and the move that you make in life. And like I'm not like, some people can do it and some people can't do it. And it's not because you can't do it, it's just because you haven't really dug deep down into yourself. So like the message I want to pass on is just pretty much like, you look at your lifestyle, right? Like like you got to take your lifestyle in bits and pieces. So like you wake up in the morning, let's just say you have a 9-to-5 job, you go in the morning, you go to a 9-to-5 job. And if you're in a position where there's a step ahead of you, right? For you to get to that step ahead of you, you can't do what everybody else is doing. Like you can't sit around the same pace of circle as everyone else is doing, because when it comes for growth, it's hard to pick someone, right? And the only way that people grow is by taking time to do the things that they're not supposed to do, but the things that a lot of people don't want to do, like getting an education outside hours, what's it called? Seeking growth outside hours, like taking it could be self-training courses, it could be going to a night program, it could be doing different things, right? But like it all falls under self-reliance. Like it all falls under that category about like just growing and realizing that this is like this is what's necessary for you to go into the next step, and trusting the process, trusting the work, trusting the time. And like it also goes into like financing and like health situation as well. Like I had this story one time about a doctor that told a gentleman that he wasn't going to be well, and the gentleman had his friend inside, and his friend inside the room with him. But the gentleman that was sick apparently told his friend that he was going to be well, but he was confused, right? So like the doctor kind of looked at him with such pity, right? But like if you ever look at like affirmation, like what affirmation does to a person, it's like when you set yourself in the mood where you feel like you think you can do something. I won't even use the word think. You know you can do something. It's sure to be getting done. Like whether it's health, like if you think you're gonna be sick, you'll most likely be sick, right? If you think you're gonna be well, you're most likely gonna be well. And that's just like, as crazy as it is, like the body energy is like probably one of the most strongest energy that every human possesses. But a lot of people do not know how to channel that energy into something useful, right? Like you see a lot of people talking about, oh, I'm down, I don't feel like I have the energy to do this, I don't feel like I have energy to do that. And it's not because they don't have the energy to do that, it's because they haven't taken the time to talk themselves into getting the energy to doing that specific thing that it is they want to do. And if you trace back the step again, it all comes back to self-reliance, right? Growing without being told to grow, working without being told to work, trusting your instinct without being told to. Some people have a very great trust instinct within themselves. Like I don't know if you guys have ever encountered anybody that way, talking about like, hey, you know, I just believe it's gonna work. I know it's gonna work. And some people look at that person like, oh, like that's crazy. Like, how do you know it's gonna work? And it's not because they just think it's gonna work, because they have so much confidence that the work that they've put in is like whatever energy they're focusing, whatever part they're focusing the energy on is gonna work. And it's not because they're not sure, it's because they know it's gonna work. That's why they say it's going to work. And there's a difference between opportunity and luck, right? A lot of people call it lucky. And I do believe there's mere luck here and there. But I believe the most time is placing yourself in that place where it's called opportunity. And because you've done that, people call it luck. Like some people say like, oh, I want you to have your luck on me. Like when people hang around someone that says like, I'm lucky, people think like, oh, it's good luck. So like I want to hang around with someone that feels lucky, so their luck can rub off on me. But if you really look at the thing that the person has done, they've taken time to make sure that they've placed themselves in the position where luck, which a lot of people call it, but the person that did that calls it opportunity, has placed himself in a position where opportunity, they can't just see opportunity, but opportunity can also see them. So like when I tell people like you have to be self-reliant, like you have to step out of the zone where you put yourself in autopilot. You have to step out of being cognizant bias, doing the same thing every day. If your life evolves around that, if you ever have to ask yourself what productive things you've done for the last 3 months and you can't, you need to start asking yourself how you can change that. Start setting goals, set standards for yourself. Like when you set goals and you set standards, it's important because you don't have it. It's not by force, right? It's not like someone telling you like this is what you have to do. This is something that you set for yourself. So this is something that you're telling yourself that, hey, I want to take this time to make sure that I do this stuff. And on the next video I'll talk about self-reliance a little bit, but I'll also jump into consistency, because like for when you have self-reliance, consistency has to be included for you to be able to do whatever it is that you want. So I hope this video has helped some people understanding what self-reliance is all about. And there's also a lot of books you can read about like self-reliance. I would do some search and I would drop some link in description below about what books you can read about self-reliance. But yeah, self-reliance, that is like you want to that's one way to finding yourself, finding who you are as a person, unlocking a different part of your mental, emotional, physical mindset that hasn't been unlocked before. And it's not because you don't have it, it's probably because you haven't exercised that energy just yet. So when you do that with more practice, you're gonna get better at it, right? I have faith. I had faith in myself when I started, and I have faith that in you, that if you start this energy, you're gonna be all right. So I want to say thank you for watching this video one more time, and don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, guys, take care and peace.